Hello everyone, hello grade 12s and welcome to STEM Lockdown Digital School. Today we're going to be doing grade 12 life orientation. My name is Sibusiso Masumbuka and I'll be presenting to you today's lesson. Today we're going to be looking still at chapter 5. We were looking at the careers and career choices in the last lesson. If you guys want to get a hold of me, you can email me on my email address. It's right on the screen in front of you, sibusisomasumbuka@ymail.com. And like I said, we're going to be looking at careers and career categories. In the last few lessons, we looked at how you guys can commit to a decision that you guys are going to take after grade 12, whether you're going to study further or whether you're going to go into the world of work. We looked at how you guys can apply at a university or at a private college for you to further your studies, as well as we also looked at how you guys can get a job in terms of how to apply for a job, the different interview skills, how you need to prepare yourself, the questions that are most likely to be asked at interview questions, as well as we also looked at when you go to a university, how do you know whether or not the institution you're going to be studying at is actually an accredited university? And we said that you can find this out by seeing whether they are registered with the South African Qualifications Authority, as well as the National Qualifications Framework, as well as the Council of Higher Education and Learning. All right, so thank you so much to all the learners that have joined us for the very first time. Welcome to those learners, and welcome back to the learners that are joining us again. And welcome to everybody that is tuning in live on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. And guys, I hope that you guys are letting your other friends who are in grade 12 I hope you're letting them know of this awesome platform where you guys can learn online and can bridge the gap in education due to the course of COVID-19. But don't worry, guys, everything is going to get back into normal pretty soon. So we need to keep our hopes up and be focused and continuing studying as well and making sure that we are up to speed with the work that we need to learn. All right. We also looked at the availability of funds. We also looked at how you can budget for university, as well as looking at alternative options in order to aid your finances for university, like bursaries, a scholarship, a study loan, and a learnership as well. So at the end of the lesson, you guys will know the reasons for and the impacts of unemployment. We're going to be looking at the financial and social viability of entrepreneurship and other employment options. These are alternate options that you guys can use in case you do not find employment once you are done with your degree or diploma or whatever qualification you guys are going to get, or even after your matric as well. We're going to be looking at the South African Revenue Services tax obligations, because we all know that everyone that works or earns an income, or even if you do have your own business, that you are obliged to pay tax. Obviously, I'll explain further what these taxes do and how they are collected. And then we're going to be looking at the impact of corruption, fraud on the individual, the company, as well as the community, because, we live in a world where all these things happen. Now, we're going to be looking at unemployment. And, a lot of us may be faced with this issue once we leave high school or even after finishing off our qualifications at a higher education institution. And it's so important that you guys follow through with what we spoke about in the previous lesson to make sure that you guys don't find yourself unemployed once finishing your academic career. Now let's have a look at unemployment. Let's define what unemployment is. Unemployment, it is when you are willing to work, ready for work, and desperately wanting a job, but cannot find work because there are just not enough jobs around for everyone. It is when you have no work or career. And let's remember that the working age in South Africa is from the age 16 to 65. So you guys know that from the age of 16, you guys can start looking for a job. It is advisable that if you are studying full-time, that you do look for a part-time job and not necessarily a full-time job, so that you guys are able to have that balance as well. But guys, the only way you guys cannot find yourself in an unemployed is if, like I said the last time, you need to continuously being flexible, learning new things, making sure that you study the job market, and we're going to be looking at other ways on how we can combat unemployment in our country, as well as looking at the option of then volunteering or starting your own business, etc. All right. Now, guys, I looked at the stats yesterday and from the Mail and Guardian, and in South Africa, we have a staggering 6.7 million people who are unemployed, which is 29% of everybody who could be working. Now, obviously, these are the stats that were brought up by that were published by Mail and Guardian in August 2019. That is a large number of people that are unemployed, and we're going to be looking at how do you not find yourself in this particular situation. All right. And like I said, a lot of the people that are unemployed are people who do have degrees, who do have qualifications, who do have a matric. So if you really aren't planning on furthering your studies, you might end up finding yourself in this huge number of people that are unemployed. So it's so important that you guys plan your life and that you commit to your plans after grade 12. All right. Um, so I wanted us to have a discussion, but you guys can drop some of your comments on the chat box as well as the Q&A. There's a Q&A option here on Microsoft Teams if you guys have questions, and I will be able to attend to your questions later on in the last 10 minutes of our lesson. All right. So what causes unemployment? What are the reasons as to why we're unemployed in South Africa? There's many causes, and I want us to have a look at them. The first one, it says when jobs close down, people get retrenched. You know, right now we're going through a serious economic rift in our country. Moody's, the financial institution, has again declared us to be in a deep financial crisis. And obviously, when we are in a deep financial crisis, we then find that a lot of businesses are struggling to make money. And when businesses struggle to make money, they then have to let go of people who work for them because they're obviously trying to cut down on costs. A lot of the costs that most businesses spend the most on is obviously salary and wages, and those are paid out to the people that work for the company as well. All right, companies try to save costs by hiring fewer people, so people are redundant. Factories close down because people do not buy certain products anymore. These are just some of the causes of unemployment. And continuing with that, poor market-related skills. People do not have skills they need to market to find jobs or other jobs, but not people with the right skills to do them. So this happens, like I said, if you study the job market, you then will find out what are some of the skills that are needed in the jobs, in the future jobs, as well as the jobs that we currently have right now. And even if you do get a job after matric or after your degree, it's so important for yourself that you continuously upskill yourself and make sure that you gain different skills so that you don't become redundant and that you can keep your job as well. We do know that in South Africa, we have the Skills Development Act that is part of the constitution that says that employers need to make sure that their workers are always upskilled and have the necessary skills as well. So have a look at some of the jobs. I would give you an option of going on to Google, look at what are some of the jobs that are needed in this particular day and age, as well as in the future as well. And if you guys can just let me know, what are some of the jobs that you think have become redundant and or skills or jobs that will not be needed. But what I know is that we do need critical thinking skills, creative skills. We need people. We know that social media is booming right now. We also know that online, everything is happening online. So a lot of things are virtual. So you need to make sure that you also upskill yourself in terms of knowing more about the internet and how it works and how you can communicate and have business conferences and meetings online, just like how I'm doing it with you guys right now. Another reason for unemployment in South Africa is because of corruption, which leads to jobs for friends or overly high salaries and taking away jobs from poor people or better qualified people. So we know that in corruption, people hire their own friends. Hiring your own friends is also known as cronyism, and hiring people that are family is also known as nepotism. We're going to be looking at that further on in our lesson today again, as well as other different types of corruptions that take place in businesses that obviously lead to people being unemployed. All right, another point says here, it's difficult for first-time or new entrants to enter into the labor market. People with experience are preferred. So, like I said the last time, a lot of you also raised this question. You were quite concerned about, but where do I get the experience for learning from? I always say to you guys, if you guys continuously join groups and subgroups and NGOs and volunteer so that you guys can get the right skills, like people skills and working in a team and other creative skills, so that you guys have that particular experience in learning as well. And I also said that whilst you're a student, you can always get a part-time job, whether working at the library in your university or working for the newspaper or the radio station at your university and other alternate ways. When I was in university, I worked in the retail sector. And that's how I was able to gain my experience. And luckily for me, I was one of those fortunate people that after my degree, I was able to get then a job. Another point here says too many people have the same qualifications and too few posts. So you need to look at which you need to then study again the job market and see where are the skills needed, in which job sectors or which career fields are people needed the most. But then again, this does not um, um, disintegrate or disfigure what I said last time about studying what you like. It's so important for you to study what you like and study what you're passionate about and get into a career that you love the most, because in that career you'll be able to flourish, you'll be able to perform better and do well, because why? You're passionate about it. Passion over everything, guys. All right. Another cause of unemployment is that buyers look at cheap imports and local people lose jobs as factories also close down. So a lot of companies look for cheap imports. And then another part here is then point is that when there are many unemployed people, fewer goods are produced and fewer services are provided. Guys, you do not want to find yourself unemployed, because it is also very difficult as an unemployed person to find a job as well. Like unemployment leads to also unemployability, which is the fact that you guys can get a job. It's easier for people with jobs to get jobs than it is for unemployed people to get jobs, because a lot of companies look at, but what have you been doing in this time? They always want to find out, what have you been doing since you've been unemployed? What have you been doing to upskill yourself as well? Because you must remember, businesses always look for people with skills. Let's have a look at other points. It says investors become scared to invest their money because they may lose it. Another part says in difficult economic conditions in the world, or recession, um, there will be less money available to spend on luxuries such as holidays. So a lot of people will be spending less on going out to restaurants and going on holidays. So those sectors in the economy will then suffer the most, because they won't be generating income, and then obviously that will lead to unemployment. And then a lot of graduates believe in how much they are worth in the job market, and may lead to ignore lower paying jobs, which may be the only jobs that are available. So a lot of graduates say, yeah, but I've got a degree, and I've got a 3-year degree, and I've got an honors degree, and I've got a master's degree. And they then do not want to take lower paying jobs. We all had to start at the bottom, and we all had to work ourselves up. Sometimes you might just have to prove yourselves. Some people are lucky enough to be able to get a high paying job after graduating. But like I said to you, in your second year and your third year of university, close to your final year of studying, a lot of the companies and businesses that are looking for students then create what is called a graduate program, where they're able to hire graduates to work and intern in their businesses as well. Another point is that employment does cost a lot of money. I did say to you that a lot of businesses spend most of their income or the expenses on employment. And then job seekers may also become discouraged and give up trying. That is why people end up being employed. So people become uninterested in finding a job, because they've been trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. Guys, sometimes you even have to apply to about 1,000 jobs for you to be able to get that one particular job. It really is just a scary fact. And that goes to show that uh, unemployment is actually a serious socioeconomic issue in South Africa that can lead to even greater socioeconomic issues such as crime and poverty as well. And then here it says a lack of job search skills and information. So like I said, you need to be able to find classifieds or different ways in which you can find jobs. There's classifieds, you can find jobs on LinkedIn, Careers 24. There's many different ways in which you can find jobs, as well as social media as well. I mean, that's how I particularly got this job, through social media. All right. And then mechanization is when computers or technology reduce the number of people that are needed. We all know that with technology advancing as well, a lot of people skills are becoming redundant, as machines and technology can do the same jobs as people. And obviously businesses will then obviously hire or buy more of these machines because it will cost less than to pay more and more people. All right. I hope you guys are following through with unemployment, guys. It is a really, really serious thing, and you really don't want to find yourself as unemployed. Let's look at the reasons for unemployment. Guys, it's so important for you guys to learn this. This question comes up quite often in the essay questions of your LO exams. And also, it also, not only are you learning the skills on how not to become an unemployed, but you're learning on how you can apply this knowledge that you guys are learning here in other subjects as well, because unemployment is a broad topic that is discussed in almost each and every subject, and it's spoken about everywhere. All right, let's look at the specific reasons for youth unemployment. There are specific reasons for unemployment, and this includes businesses prefer employees who already have skills and experience to inexperienced and unskilled youth. Employers do not regard schooling as an accurate measure of abilities. Low pass marks for NSC, which is your matric, are not acceptable in competitive workplaces. So like I said, you're not only competing with the learners in your school, you're competing with everybody else around the world that is looking for that particular job, looking for that particular bursary, looking for that particular position in university to go and study. So you always need to make sure that whatever marks that you guys produce are always the marks that are absolutely brilliant. That's what people want. A lot of companies want people who are excellent in everything that they do, and that also includes your marks as well. Then another point here, another reason for unemployment is expectations of youth may not match the reality. Some youth or some young people would rather not work than do a job thought to be below their hopes. So a lot of this is not a time when you're looking for employment. This is not a time for you to be arrogant and say, this is a job that I will do. This is a job that I wouldn't do. If it means that you need to start off by packing stationery and working yourself up to being a manager, then that could be your alternate plan. A lack of businesses that are willing to do on-job training. Like I said, a lot of businesses, yes, we have the Skills Development Act. However, businesses also try and not spend as much money on training because they know that if they spend money on training a particular employee, that employee could leave at any point, and they leave with all the skills that they have taught in that business or in the training, and the business would have spent a lot of money in training that person. A lack of entrepreneurial skills, we're going to be looking at that, and then a lack of knowledge on how to apply or study or for jobs, and then a lack of networking skills. I told you that with every person that you meet, that you always need to network with them. Find out what skills or knowledge that you guys can find from them. You know, a lot of the jobs that you get lately is not by dropping off your CV, but it's by networking with other people and finding ways on how that person can help you get into that company. Because it's sometimes always a bit better to know somebody. So it's so important for you to broaden your networks by joining LinkedIn. Like I said, is a great social media platform where you can network with people who are like-minded and are in the same job industry as you are in. The youth do not also have enough information about the role of FET colleges and their courses. Like I said, a lot of people like to look down on FET colleges and TVET colleges, is what they call them now, because of whatever issues they might have with them. But I always say that FET colleges and the subjects that they offer there are quite good because they also allow you, they give you what is called work integrated learning, which is where you are able to go into the job industry whilst you're studying and get some form of experience as well. Poverty, which leads to a lack of funds for further qualification and lack of money to pay for transport to job interviews, CV printing, airtime, and online application. So if you're poor, sometimes it is quite a bit of a difficult situation for you because it is difficult for you to find jobs because you need airtime or data to get onto the website or to print a CV or to do an online application. So when you are poverty stricken, it may be a bit difficult for you as well. And then some young people make high wage demands at entry level, which workplaces are not willing to agree. So always look at what is the salary, the salary in the market. So you need to see. So if I want to become a doctor or I want to become a lawyer, how much do other lawyers or first-year lawyers with this particular qualification earn, so that you know that when they ask you about salaries, that you don't ask for a salary that is too high or even too low at some stages. Some learners, some youth, some young people also give up and stop looking for jobs, and there are too many recent university graduates with qualifications who do not match the market needs. So it's so important for you to also find out what other careers you can get into with your qualifications as well. All right. Then let's have a look at the effect of unemployment. A job provides satisfaction. Let's not forget that. Support and hope. So when you have a job, you're satisfied. You're able to meet your basic needs, your social needs, and so on and so forth. Unemployment affects the unemployed not only financially but personally and socially as well. So you may lose your self-esteem because you're unemployed and you have like 3 degrees or 3 qualifications. So let's have a look at other effects of unemployment. You will lose self-esteem, self-respect, and motivation. You will lose a sense of purpose in life. You may have conflict with families. If you're unemployed and you're unable to meet ends meet, there might be fights in family as well, which can cause huge conflicts and obviously a whole lot of brawls that can happen there. Divorce or abuse of unemployed person. We feel we are losing control over our life. Stress and uncertainty and depression, boredom and a lack of motivation, and an increase in debt, which can have a huge emotional effects on you as well. A lot of people then resort to abusing substances such as using drugs, tobacco, and alcohol abuse to try and numb themselves from the pain of unemployment. Obviously, this is not a great alternative, but it is an effect of unemployment. There will be an increase of violence and abuse in families where there are money problems. The chances of domestic violence and abuse are increased, and relationships will be affected. It can lead to crime and social instability. We do not. A lot of people that do create crime or are involved in crime is because they are trying to make ends meet and use this as an alternative to sort of meet their basic needs. Um, Unemployment also causes poverty, less taxable income for government, and less money to spend on education, hospitals, and police, as well as roads. So you guys know that everybody that earns an income will then pay tax to the government so that the government can pay for services such as free education, hospitals, healthcare, the infrastructure, the roads, the how train that we guys have. So if we have less people employed, that means that the government is actually collecting less tax. And when they collect less tax, that is why there's such a huge rift and such a difficult time for the health services as well as education, and that is why we are unable to reach. That is why government is unable to reach as many people as possible. We know these situations. It is so important for us to be cognizant of these things, even though we may live in metropolitan areas where hospitals and police stations and roads are accessible. It's so important for us to also think of the people who also stay in rural areas as well. Unemployment may also lead to hunger and homelessness. You may lose your home as well, a lack of education and training, again, crime, exploitation, human trafficking. So a lot of people who are desperate to find jobs may end up meeting somebody online who promises them a job, and they may end up being human trafficked and be used as sex slaves or slaves in other countries to transport drugs, etc. It may also lead to HIV and AIDS, um, child abuse, as well as exclusion and loneliness, which is an emotional and social well-being issue. Have a look at the cycle of unemployment. I've got a cycle there on a diagram, but I want to particularly look at the first point. It says you can't find work and you're unemployed. Then you can't afford rent and then you live on the streets. Then you can't afford food and go hungry, and then it's easier for you to get sick because you're obviously malnourished. And then you have no money to look for a job, and then you miss on job offers. You have no money to pay for internet fees and online for internet when you're looking for a job online. You have no money to buy smart clothes for job interviews, which also can be a huge problem. And then you have problems at home. Family puts pressure on you to get a job or to get out. You may be forced to accept any kind of work below the minimum wage and below your qualifications or your ability and not keep the job. The longer you're unemployed, the higher the risk of substance abuse, feeling hopeless, angry, depressed, lonely, and lose confidence. You may give up and stop looking for a job as well. And then obviously the cycle ends with becoming discouraged, unemployed, feeling desperate, and you will also beg and borrow or even steal to survive, with a criminal record. And obviously, when you have a criminal record, it makes it very, very difficult not only for you to not find employment in South Africa, but to also be unable to get a working visa and go work abroad as well. So that's not what you want for yourself. All right. And obviously, the cycle continues and continues. So we need to look at now. The next topic is we're looking at innovative solutions to counteract unemployment. How do we break that cycle? How do we get out of that cycle? All right. It is very important that you know that you never lose hope or feel that because there is so many unemployed young people that you will never get a job. Now is the time to motivate yourself to do as well as possible in school so that you go to university, take a learnership. Remember what I said about learnerships? That is when you are able to work and learn at the same time. Or attend an FET college. Remember I said FET college, you also get a bit of field experience and get a gist of what you're learning as well. So let's look at other. Again, guys, you need to be hopeful, all right, and not despair. All right. Some of the innovative solutions to counteract unemployment is by registering on the Department of Labor database as an unemployed work seeker. The Department of Labor's work seeker database is a register of all unemployed people seeking for work opportunities. You need to register your details on this database, and you will need to visit the local labor center and complete a work seeker application. The Department of Labor will provide you with a reference number and inform you of learnerships and other opportunities that arise. You can get contact details from the labor centers. I've got the link there up there. And remember, these slides will be available on African Teen Geeks as well as on my Google Classroom, which I will share with you the code later on. Another way of combating or solution to unemployment is by starting to look or working for part-time during school holidays as well. It's also important for you to do VAC work. When you are in university, you have quite a few breaks. School starts in February, and then by the time you're done with your exams in June, you go back to school at around July, beginning of August. So you have quite a bit of time to do extra work as well. And unlike in high school, your timetable in university isn't always cluttered or full of modules or courses that you have to attend. So what you can do is that you can always find a job on the side, just so that you can gain some form of experience, and so people can see that you're actually capable of. Another innovative solution to counteract unemployment, which is one of my favorite, and this is how I was also able to gain skills, and you can gain skills through volunteering at church, in your school. Schools have charity clubs, and so do churches as well. Volunteering, means to help others. You give your time, skills, and to others. You do not expect payment. Volunteering makes you feel good about yourself because you are doing something for somebody else. This builds confidence. You always need confidence. It also allows you to explore your interests, your abilities, and skills, so you get to know yourself a bit better as well, which is what comes after volunteering or in the process of volunteering. This might make it easier for you to choose a career. Volunteering is not only about helping people. You can also, for example, volunteer by cleaning up the rivers, beaches, or work in an animal shelter. When you are a volunteer, you usually get a letter or a certificate to state what kind of work you did, and for how many hours. So you can also use the organization which you're volunteering in as a reference in your CV as well, so that people, when you're applying for a job, can refer to that, so that they know what kind of person you learn from that. And guys, from experience, I know that in volunteering, you gain a lot of experience and the skills such as teamwork, creative thinking, and critical thinking as well. You really just get the gist of working with other people, which are just some of the skills that are required to enter into the job market and to keep your job well. Like I said earlier, you can find a part-time job working in retail, um, working at a library in your community, and other types of part-time jobs. So a part-time job means that you are not full-time employed. So you'll work 2 or 3, 4 times a week, according to what the arrangement that you have with your employer. And then community work, you can also get into community work, which means that you do something to benefit your community or community in need. This is also known as social entrepreneurship. Last year in the grade 12 prelim exam, they asked a question on social entrepreneurship, and that is what community work is. Social entrepreneurship is when people or individuals start a business try and combat all the social issues that happen in the community as well. So perhaps you can look at that as well as an alternate option to you finding a job or whilst you are looking for it. Another option would then be entrepreneurship. To be an entrepreneur, you see a need and provide a service or goods that people need. This is a great way to earn money while you look for other options or opportunities. If you're an entrepreneur, it leads to success and you may turn this into a day-to-day job to employ other people. Obviously, we know that if you start your own business, you do help fight the struggle of unemployment in our country. And guys, let me tell you something about starting a business. And I know not all of us may have the skills or the qualities of an entrepreneur, but what I want to let you know is that this could be an option that you could possibly look at if you are struggling to find a job. And you know the thing is about entrepreneurship is that you always need to constantly look at what does your community need. What are just some of the needs of your community? So you need to look at things that like such as convenience. You know, I went to varsity with a guy who, when we graduated university, he decided that he's actually going to open up a sneaker cleaning shop. So he washes sneakers, and he's now grown. His business has grown, and he's got like 3 branches all around Gauteng, other alternative ways for people to support his business. And the reason how he started this business is that he saw that a lot of people in university had a lot of had dirty sneakers and couldn't sort of repair them and make them look new anymore. And he was like, let me start a business where I clean other people's sneakers. So obviously he created a convenience. So now guess what? When I have dirty sneakers, I send it to his business. They wash it for me. I pay it. He's created employment, and this is how we combat unemployment in South Africa. The name of the business, by the way, is Walk Fresh. If you guys look for it on Facebook and on Instagram, you guys can have a look at it and check out his story. It's actually quite a beautiful narrative to sort of learn about. And then another innovative solution to counteract or to fight unemployment is through informal jobs. These are usually short term. For example, you can wash cars, do gardening, sell newspapers, make clothes, sell fruits or sweets at the taxi rank or next to the school. Obviously, not in the school, guys. Um, some people prefer informal employment due to its flexible hours. This allows them to balance family responsibilities. Others find this um, in the only work they can do to survive. Guys, a lot of you guys are in social media, and social media has created employment opportunities for a lot of young people. You guys can become social influencers, and it's not just about fashion and the good life. It can also be about, you know, interior design, traveling. We see a lot of young people who leave universities who have exceptional degrees, but end up getting into jobs such as social media influencing as a way for them to find jobs or to generate income. And this is an awesome, awesome way. And now that you guys are out on social media, why not use that platform to actually make money? Um, you guys know you guys can make money, and you don't even have to have 10,000 followers for you to start making money. Even if you have as little as 500 followers, it is easier for you to make money as well. Obviously, treating that as your brand and you creating that employment opportunity. You can sign up as temporary employees. You can contact the job agency if you want if you want to look for a job. So what employment agency or job agencies do is that you send them your CV and they find employment for you. So a lot of businesses actually approach employment agencies and they ask them to look for candidates or the talent so that they can get the people employed, so they can get you employed. So sometimes you can always approach an employment agency to help you look for a job. You don't pay any fees. Again, no employment agency should ask you to pay them a fee for them to look for a job. It is the business that is looking for people that should pay that fee, not the people that are looking for a job. So important for you to understand that. And that is, you know, a lot of people, because of these job agencies, these fly-by-night job agencies that you guys hear about on television and social media, that is how a lot of people get human trafficked as well. And then get employment, no matter what it is and where it is. Always find a job, guys. There's always job opportunities for you. If people want to give you a job um, or an employment opportunity, try it out and see how it will work out for you as well. Just as an But then again, if you choose the right career, you get the right marks, if you follow the job interview skills and the university application skills, you network well, then you shouldn't be able to find yourself in that unemployment state. Let's have a look at the financial and social viability of entrepreneurship. So let's look at entrepreneurship as a whole. Entrepreneurship and other employment options may be the best way to earn money. The more jobs that are created, the better for everyone. Draw up business plans and see how if they are workable as well. The Department of Trade and Industry also gives um, finances. They help finance young people with really, really cool and innovative business ideas. They fund them. So you can also look at other agencies as to where if you are an entrepreneur and you have a really cool business idea, how can you find finance? You can also do this by looking this up on Google as well. Right. All right, and let's look at some of the benefits or the opportunities that are created, or the reason why people actually want to get a job. It says here an entrepreneur makes something happen from nothing. He or she is a person who takes an idea or an opportunity, accepts financial risk, and turns that idea or opportunity into a profitable enterprise. The reasons for pursuing certain occupation is obviously good salary, status of being employed, and obviously being of good health as well. Working hours, working conditions, benefits of job, and later on in the year, we're going to be looking at the different rights and acts that are opposed on employment as well. The availability of jobs suits my personality, suits my interests and skills as well as values. Have a contact in the field, friend. Remember, I told you you need to have a mentor who's going to help you, somebody who is in the field and who has experience in the field to help you guide you in that career field that you are following through or career that you're pursuing. Inherited, continue with family tradition. So a lot of you might end up joining a family business. It also influences your parents and your peers. It is a high skill job with lots of job opportunities for work after study and any other suitable reason why you want to pursue a job or career. Those are the reasons why you want to get a job. I don't want you guys to find yourself in a situation where, guys, all right, I just want to, we have minutes left. I want to talk about the idea of SARS. Like I said, SARS, which is the South African Revenue Services, is a government agency that collects tax. Like I said, everybody that earns an income in South Africa has to pay tax, and obviously that money is collected to pay for all the social services that we have in our country, such as education, healthcare, etc. And it's so important for us to pay tax. And when you don't pay tax, that is called tax evasion, and that is a serious, serious crime. And even when you have a business as well, you then would have to pay what we call company tax. So income tax and company tax are what we call direct taxes. You guys learned this in grade 8 EMS. And indirect tax includes things such as VAT, which we then pay whether you earn an income or not. We pay VAT. VAT is the tax that is imposed on goods and services. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the budget speech 2 years ago, it was increased to 15% as well. Now let's look at corruption. Now we all know of corruption and we hear about it in the news and everywhere else. Corruption and fraud are ways of getting money, privileges and power and dishonesty. Corruption is the misuse of public power and money for private benefit. It is the abuse of public office for private gain. So we know that a lot of people get into public office and work for the state or the government and end up abusing their power by generating private gain or wealth from that by misusing the funds that are collected by government on proper things. We all know about this, but we also don't want to become those people when we eventually get employed by the state as well. Let's look at the forms of corrupt behavior, and it's important for you guys to know this. These are good Section A multiple choice questions. Let's have a look at bribery. Bribery is when you pay for illegal favor. It could be through money, it could even be through cold drink, I mean in South Africa. And influence peddling is when it's the illegal practice of using one's influence in government with persons in authority to receive information or benefits. Stealing public resources, another one. Nepotism is what I said to you earlier, is when you hire people in your own family in the business. Cronyism is when you hire your friends. And then another reason is, another form of corruption or corrupt behavior is favoritism and extortion, which is obtaining money or favors through force or threats. And then fraud is getting money by cheating, stealing, or doing dishonest dealings. Guys, obviously these are criminal offenses. And if you are caught doing this, it is not only unethical, but it can be laid against you, and it might be difficult for you to find a job because you might have a criminal record or a bad record altogether. This particular reason. So we looked at the reasons and the impacts of unemployment today. We looked at the financial and social viability of entrepreneurship and other employment options. SARS obligations, paying taxes, so important. The impact of corruption and fraud on the individual and company. Now I'm going to go and look at some of the questions that you guys might have for me today. Interested to find out what you guys are asking. The Q&A as well. I see I have three public questions here. All right. Kyle says, in your opinion, which is the best source of job finding, like social media or LinkedIn, or finding companies? I always say that you need to broaden your horizons. So find as many alternatives sources of finding a job, and also explore all of them. I mean, you can try dropping off your CV, looking at internet on the internet for jobs, as well as joining an employment agency that can help you find a job as well. But social media, like I said, is such an important or very current way of looking for a job lately. So those are also some of the sources that you can use. But the best way is to explore each and every one of them as well. All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today for grade 12 life orientation. I hope you guys were able to take in as much information as possible. I hope I didn't scare you too much, and I hope that the lessons or the ideas and skills that I've taught you today will sort of ease you finding a job one day when you're looking for a job. And guys, I always say again, be flexible, network as much as possible. Those are just some of the best, or from my own personal experience, the best ways to find a job. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing democracy and human rights. So please join me on that. And then you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at ZBU_M on Facebook and Twitter as well. Let me know what you guys think of today's lesson. I'm really, really keen to find out. I've been getting a lot of feedback, interesting, and a lot of you guys have been seeking help via email as well, and I've been able to respond to all of you guys. Again, let's keep this. Let's bridge the gap between education. I'm here for you guys to make sure that you guys are upskilled and have all the knowledge that you guys need for your tests and exams, and also for life. And that is what we're here for. So you guys can take me as your life coach as well. You guys can also tweet African Teen Geeks and follow them on Instagram and Facebook as well. You guys can use the hashtag STEM Champions, Lockdown eSchool, Sasso Foundation. Let them know what you guys think of this awesome online platform, and also plug your friends, your cousins, and your nieces who are also in matric and in other grades, as the timetable is published each and every day, as well as the links as well. My Google Classroom code is right here at the bottom. You guys can log in there, and then you will be able to have access to all these slides. Alternatively, you can find them on the Africa Teen Geeks website, as well as all the other slides that we've had before. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today was awesome. I hope to see you all tomorrow, bright and early at 10 o'clock. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.